say it's Matthew, but obviously it's Matthew, you can see me. I'm used to doing that on the podcast because not everybody watches it. Some people just listen to the audio of the podcast. Anyway, hi. Thanks everybody for joining. I mentioned on the pod that I would do another Instagram live because it was really good fun last time, and maybe it's a nice little tradition that I could start for end of the week. Once we've had our 3 episodes of the Traitors UK, we can have a wee chat about them. And a couple of people have sent questions already, actually, just to get us started talking. Before I get into that, I thought it might also be quite cool to let you know something that's happened with the podcast just this week. And I didn't mention it on the pod, but just as this UK series has been on, the podcast has now surpassed 500,000 downloads, which is wild, absolutely crazy. So thanks everybody that's been listening and watching. I'm very amazed with all of you for helping make that happen. So yeah, 500,000 downloads for the Trader. That doesn't include YouTube streams, which now is over like 200,000. And so yes, very, very exciting. And actually, I see that Magica is with us in the chat to help celebrate. Magica has helped do some, well, I'll say helped, he's actually done the entire thing himself. Magica has very kindly offered to do something super exciting for the podcast, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You will hear it. It's probably pretty obvious now that I've said hear it. Over the next few episodes, Magica has actually come back on the pod to recap episode 11 with me, the penultimate episode. So when Magica is back, we'll let you in on this surprise that we've prepared to celebrate 500,000 downloads. How cool, how exciting. Again, I know a lot of people are watching this live. If you're not watching it live, you may be catching up with this once we're finished. I'll just keep it on the Instagram page and I'll upload it to YouTube as well. So some of you may be joining, retrospectively. But hello to everybody. It's like a wee bonus podcast episode, I suppose. I'm not in Traitors gear. I'm in cat gear. I'm in Mariah mug because a hero does lie in you. So it's like just like the chilled out version of the podcast. Less pressure, guys. It's like I'm a teacher again, and it's inset day. This better not be a lie, someone said. Promise it's not. I'm not playing the game. Right hand. Yeah, it's like inset day. Teacher, I don't need to wear a shirt and tie. There's no children. I could just get to chill out. I don't really need to prepare anything. It's very relaxed. So hello to everybody that's joining and waving. So someone actually did send me a question. So I got a question on Instagram from Laura, who said, just in advance, hello, here's a wee question for your Instagram live. And Laura asked, oh, Laura's joined. Hi, Laura. Perfect timing. Laura asked a question that comes up regularly about the Traitors. New people who are watching it maybe for the first time or have only just started watching often have this thought. And so because it keeps coming up, you might as well talk about it again. And it's this sort of eternal question. Eternal's not the word. Like evergreen, perennial question, something like that, of the order that the players come back at breakfast. And people often think, hey, they always leave faithful to the end because they want to keep the viewers in suspense about which one of the Traitors' kind of murder shortlist is going to make it back. And eventually it becomes apparent, well, why don't the players realise that? Surely the players know that the last few people to walk in to breakfast are the people who were almost murdered, therefore they're faithful. So people, a lot of viewers say, why haven't the players figured this out? They can figure out who are faithful. However, it's been disproven over the last few series of different versions of the show. Even in this current series of UK Traitors, Rachel walked in the last group one day. It's quite early on, but she was a traitor and she was one of the last few batch. So that alone disproves the theory. I think there might have been another episode where even Stephen came in the last group, but yeah, once or twice a series now, they do put a traitor in last. So that does throw off the theory. So even if you were a player and you were thinking, I need to watch out for who's coming in last at breakfast, they must be faithful. Now there will always be a traitor at some point, so that will throw you off. And actually, more than that, even if you think everybody's faithful that's coming in last, you have a problem with recruitment. So at some point in the series, there is likely to, not always, but likely to be a recruitment, and that would just throw everything off. Even if you had figured out who all the faithful were, at some point, at least one of them might become a traitor. So then, yeah, that's thrown everything off. I just would, if I was playing the game and I was on the TV show, yeah, I would have it in mind that probably the vast majority of the people who come in last are faithful, but I wouldn't rely on it. I would worry that wasn't foolproof. A couple of people have commented, so Maria Fraser, hi Maria. And maybe I should also spill a little secret now. Maria's an author, and Maria is going to be on the podcast with me. We're going to co-host the next episode. Maria's a big fan of the show, a fantastic writer, so I'm very excited to be on the pod with Maria. Maria says, I loved when you all talked to Mel B. Now this is not Scary Spice Mel B, sadly, because that one day maybe Mel B from the Spice Girls will come on the pod. But Maria means Mel B, who is Melissa B, who was on Traitors Canada season 1, and she was a traitor. And she's been on the pod many times. I loved when you talked to Mel B, and she said she spent the whole day metagaming and saying there's no way she's a traitor since she came to breakfast last. There we go. So Melissa B disproved that theory as well, that she came in last and she was a traitor. Laura says, thanks so much. Magicer, I said even Steven, but I think he should be called Uneven Steven. Maybe from now on I will call him Uneven Steven. But that makes it sound like I'm dissing him or something, and I'm a fan of Steven. Uneven Steven, even Steven, even Stevens. I'll think of a cool name there. Hello to everybody that's joining and waving, and Maria's smiling. Maria's going to be on the pod. If you've got questions, by the way, or you've got thoughts on the eps, post them here, we'll have a chat. Some of you were breaking out into your own little chat groups last time. Again, all over YouTube. I know we do a bonus Q&A episode for the pod now. I don't even get to all the questions that people have sent in. There are so many that people leave on YouTube, which is really, really cool. And I read them all, try and respond to them all, even if I just give them a wee love heart. I don't know what that actually does on YouTube. I've got the option to thumb up or love heart. I think thumbs up means push it up, the list or something, push this comment higher. Is that right? I'm not young and cool enough to know this. And love heart is just favourite, love ya, great comment. So I always just give them a little love heart, but I notice other people are doing the thumbs up thing. Maybe I should do both to be sure. I'm not sure. So yes, there's lots of people commenting on YouTube and I try and respond to them. And then some of you have your own little discussions, which is cool. It's like the YouTube page for the podcast becomes its own Reddit forum. Is that a thing? I don't really use Reddit. Reddit's like a forum. I've seen it. It's like a... Reddit fascinates me because it's it's very old school. It's like an old school message board that we used to use back in the day of ye old internet. And you would like threads on a forum. Reddit seems to be that. People are still enjoying actually writing long things and answering each other rather than just 5-second videos on TikTok. It's amazing. Shan said, Rachel and Stephen can easily do what Kat and Alan couldn't. Not Kat and Alan. It's mind-blowing that the only Traitors win last year across the different franchises was Alan. That may not be a spoiler. We don't know how many franchises Shan has watched. So in case you're like, oh my god, that's ruined it. It may not have ruined it. I don't know what series Shan has watched. But thank you, Shan. Shan is a faithful listener. Shan has sent lovely messages in many times. I saw a similar comment somewhere. Shan, maybe it was you. You left this comment already. Someone also said it kind of like Alan and Kat, Stephen and Rachel, and how well they've worked as a team. Both of these pairs of players, by the way, a really great example of something that I say on the podcast a lot, which is Traitors do so much better if they stick together, if they really do work as a team. I reckon any version I've watched when there's at least one traitor who's got an ulterior motive and they want to go their own way and they immediately want to double cross their fellow traitors, it just always ends in disaster. It never ends well. So yes, Kat and Alan on Celebrity Traitors worked so well together, as far as they could, almost all the way, and I think Rachel and Stephen are doing the same thing. You know, really early on, it was like episode 3 or something, they sort of made this promise to each other, I'll never vote for you, I'll never vote. And at the time, some of us thought, oh, they're just saying that, if that's what you've got to say. But I really think they meant it, actually, now. They're really, really working hard to stick together. And I think they know, especially Rachel. She seems like she has studied this game. She gets it. She gets, if you want to make it to the end, make besties with your fellow traitor. You have to stick together. It's your best chance. Maria says Jade is a traitor. She and Stephen were dressed the same. It must be a sign. Maybe Jade's like the secret traitor. Maybe as well. Maybe Fiona wasn't the only secret traitor we were seeing in a red cloak that whole time. There was a double secret traitor. It's Jade all along. I was going to say something about Jade being a colour, but that's like almost the opposite colour of red. It's like Jade is a green colour. Okay, but there's something in it. Maria, I don't know if that's what you meant at all, but I'm going to take that conspiracy theory forward. There's a few more questions here. This is from... Oh, hi Ed. He's got 2.5 episodes to listen to, so I think Ed's going off to catch up on the actual podcast. But thanks, Ed. Davey Robb, hi. Hello, we met in IRL. How you doing? Says, do we think the Faithfuls have any chance of winning now? It feels like the momentum has swung far against them. Yeah, I think this, on the most recent episode of the pod that just uploaded this morning, I think, David Bloomberg and I talked about this because a listener had sent in a question. We think it is so unlikely that the Faithful will win now. I think it's a real uphill battle. Their only chance of winning now is, I think, to get out Stephen next. They're really going to have to revisit him. I don't think they will. I think he didn't get a single vote in the most recent episode. I just don't think they're looking at Rachel at all. And I do have reasons why I think that. Maybe I'll talk about it on the main pod. I know people keep saying, oh my god, it's so obvious it's Rachel. Why aren't they listening to Fiona? Why aren't they listening to Harriet, even though she went a bit mad? But I think there are various reasons why it seems much more obvious to us than it does to the players themselves. Anyway, to answer the question, I would, if I was going to bet money, I would bet money on a traitor win at this point. Definitely Rachel. Hopefully Stephen can make it with her. Sorry, I'm reading all the... Yes, hi. Magiker says, what kind of person should join the cast? Should the casting team seek out next? Oh right, I thought this was like a funny question, like should they employ me? Which is the answer, they should. I think this is a genuine question. Thank you, Magiker. Magiker is just very funny, so I just always assume everything's a joke in the nicest way possible. Magiker, yeah, what kind of person should the casting team seek out? So should they be looking for people with interesting jobs? Is it more about their background? Is it about finding people with secret relationships and connections? Maybe this question is prompted by some of the complaints about this series. I even read an article that some newspaper or magazine had published today. I didn't read an article. I read the headline of an article and didn't take it any further than that. I'm sorry. And it was about this sort of mesh of like generic white men being on the cast who haven't done all that much exciting. I can tell them apart. Maybe it's because I do the podcast, so I'm like obsessively watching it and taking notes, and I've watched most of the episodes twice this year, so I feel like I've got a pretty good sense of who they are. But I get that James and Jack and Matt and Adam and Faraz even have kind of they're just like this sort of blob of men who it's kind of been like, which is great, and this is not a complaint from me at all. It's really been a great series for the women, I guess. Like, they've been the standouts from this series, and I'm more than happy to have that. And led by Queen Claudia, of course. So, to answer Magica's question, What should they be seeking out? It's tough. I think they always do need someone with a powerful backstory. They want someone who's going to connect with us emotionally in some way if they manage to make it towards the end. They need that, like the dinner scene, they need people. It doesn't need to be people with depressing, awful, sad stories about death. They just want people who have got a heartwarming reason to want to be in the game that we can root for in some way. Maybe Jack, that doesn't really apply to Jack. Jack, lovely man, very nice, very handsome, and that can get you far in life. And maybe I'm just jealous, Jack, okay? But yes, I think they need people with warmth, people we're going to connect to. I don't think they want villains. I know there are always people on the cast that some viewers don't like, and we take to some more than others. I don't think we want to go down the road of Big Brother, which sometimes just does cast hideously unlikable people quite deliberately. I think we do need the potential to like all of them. Yeah, just as diverse as possible, I guess. Interesting jobs that might cause issues in terms of suspicion. They always tend to have a lawyer or a psychologist, and some of them decide to keep it a secret. I think they'll keep that up. And they always have someone who's connected to the police somehow, or a private detective. I think they will keep doing that. It just helps lead into the bad reasons that people choose to accuse people of being a traitor and so on. Lizzie says, I feel like closer to the end, refusing to throw another traitor under the bus might be the downfall, unless they recruit someone else and throw them under. So yeah, maybe Rachel and Stephen have this problem that we haven't voted out any other traitors since Fiona, and so that's an issue because the remaining players, the remaining faithful, know that there must be at least 2 left. So by the time it gets to the end game, any faithfuls will absolutely continue to vote red and continue banishing people from the game until they're satisfied, maybe even until there's only 2 left. And if Rachel and Stephen are still there, that's great for them. They'll just stick as a pair and vote everyone else out. But maybe Lizzie's right, that they are either going to... Maybe Rachel will have to turn on Stephen just to give the faithful the satisfaction that they got another one, or maybe they have to recruit someone like Matthew and immediately get rid of him to give that satisfaction of there being another traitor out, and therefore maybe make the faithful think there is only 1 left. That's a great question. Joe says, I think Joe is responding to Davy Robb. I think the successful murder of Adam was a big turning point for who I thought would win. I now expect a joint Stephen and Rachel win, whereas I'm firmly on I'm firmly on Team Traitor, which isn't always the case. Yeah, someone else just had sent me a message. Apologies because I can't remember who it is. So on Instagram, like 20 minutes ago, saying I'm Team Traitor all the way. I'm usually Team Traitor. I don't know what that says about me. So, Team Traitor. Yeah, that's just, I don't know. I just like people lying and getting away with it. Is that awful? I'm sorry. I'm not Team Traitor if I think the traitors are really bad at it. Then I think I want the best players to win. So actually, there have been other series when there have been really clever, faithful, who've played it so well, and they've played better as a faithful than their counterpart traitors have played as traitors. And in those cases, I have wanted the faithful to win. But most of the time, I just think it's fun to root for the traitors. That's what the show's called. Sarah G says, sorry if you've already answered this. I haven't. Sarah's asking, who should the dagger be given to? We talked a bit about this on the pod. On the podcast, I guessed they would give it to Roxy. And actually, after I finished recording, I thought, maybe I shouldn't have said Roxy. Actually, maybe that's not the smart answer. Because I'm now doubting myself. If they give it to Roxy, if they give it to Roxy, it will be because they don't think she will vote for either of them, Rachel and Stephen. They'll think, well, she's going to vote for somebody else. That's great for us. But might the players realise that's quite obvious? Like, I mean, maybe not with some of these guys, but if Roxy gets the dagger, will the faithful think, Let's stop for a moment. Surely the traitors are going to give the dagger to someone who won't vote for them. So, who's Roxy least likely to vote for? She's probably not going to vote for Stephen after what she just said at the round table. Is that a bit sus? So that's really what the faithful should do. Look at whoever gets the dagger and think, who are you probably not going to vote for? They're more likely to be a traitor, and that's why they've given you it. I don't know if they'll make those deductions, and they might just go mad with paranoia and be like, oh my god, Roxy's a traitor and she's given it to herself, get her out. I think David's prediction was that Rachel would give it to herself, which might be wise. Because they seem so oblivious to Rachel, maybe this will just further add to that, and the faithful will think, well, she's not going to give it to herself as a traitor, but she has double-crossed him. So who should they give it to, Sarah? My answer is, I think they should give it to someone whose votes have actually been a bit all over the place, and it's not incredibly obvious who that player is about to vote for next, even though Rachel and Stephen have got a pretty good idea of it. So that would be someone like Jade, maybe? Jade and Stephen are buddies. Maybe that's too obvious though, everybody knows they're buddies. But maybe it would help. I'm gonna on the podcast I predicted Roxy. Here on Instagram Live, my dark horse is Jade. Maybe Jade's the person they give it to. Maria says Spice Girls Mel B. Oh, she did the Circle US. I bet she'd do Celebrity Traitors. Mel B would do celebrity, like, I'm trying to think of the dumbest show ever. She would do, like, Celebrity Weather Report, Mel B. I'm not, like, slighting Mel B. She's iconic as a Spice Girl. She will do any reality show going. She did the Bear Grylls, Bear Trap, Catch the Bear, I'm a Bear, Find the Bear, Bears in the Wood, whatever that show was called on Netflix with Bear Grylls and celebrities ran away from him and he chased them. She was on that. Mel B loves a reality show. She absolutely, and she is a judge on like 500 reality shows, like talent contests. Yes, Mel B would so do Celebrity Traitors. I'm mind blown they didn't have a Spice Girl on that first series. Studio Lambert, sort it out. Yes, get a Spice Girl on. Emma Bunton, she'd so be up for it as well. Emma Bunton is going to be the host of Bake Off in the States. I know that the States have tried to already do a kind of fakey British Bake Off and it didn't really take. But I think now Love Productions, maybe it's not Love, they make British Bake Off in the UK, but they're going to do an official I guess it'll be called the Great American Bake Off. I don't know. Emma Bunton's going to host that. So if she's up for that, she's up for the Traitors. Come on, Emma, sort it out. Cat Jean says, love your shirt. Thank you, Cat Jean. I love it too. It's from the Cat Protection charity. The wee logo's in the corner. It actually does have 4 cats on it because I'm a crazy cat person with 4 cats. So it's very cool. And my partner got me this for Christmas. So I was very happy. Magica, you are too funny, I know. Maria says, I think there's 0% chance of a Jack win. Surely if he won, he'd have a tiny bit more screen time. David Bloomberg suggested this on the pod. Yeah, it seems like, if they know someone's going to win, they'll give us a bit more of a sense of them and a reason to root for them. And we know so little about Jack. It seems unlikely that he's a person who's going to go on and win the show. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 episodes. Maybe Jack is going to come into his own. He's going to come up with some incredible theory. He's going to turn on Stephen, get him banished, and we all think, oh my goodness, Jack, where did you come from? Who knows? I wouldn't rule it out. And Sarah G says that I found at the beginning the genetic white men were all just voting for each other. Yes, there was a lot of that. R.I.P. Sam. And Kat Jane says, I hope they cast older people again. I know part of it was that they had the secret relationships, but just in general, it's good to have a good age range. I absolutely agree. But sadly, often on Traitors, older people do get voted off quite early. I'm thinking back through the series and who makes it towards the end, and usually the older people don't, which is a shame. Like, I want that to happen, and maybe that's a natural... It's one of those sort of societal things. It's a microcosm. People stick with people that are like them, and older people who are older than the majority of the other players just end up seeming like an outsider, and it becomes an easy reason to get voted off. Not a good reason, but an easy reason, which is a shame. And I don't know how you counteract that. Maybe it's inevitable. But yeah, I like seeing the age range. I think it's one of the great strengths of the British version of Traitors, and Irish Traitors, which is on its way to BBC. It'll be with us next week. It'll be with us, like it's a person. She will be with us. I feel Traitors Ireland is a she, if she had a gender. So she is coming, she is on her way, she's excellent, she has a great age range of contestants. Cannot recommend it enough. This is not a spoiler, to say that one of the standout contestants from Traitors Ireland is an older man called Poddy. I am saying nothing about his role in the show, I am saying nothing about how far he gets. He has become so famous in Ireland, he's on the Irish version of Strictly Come Dancing, or Dancing with the Stars if you're in the States. Like, he is now a contestant on that already because he was so standout. But yeah, he was like an older man, just a sort of very funny and enjoyable Irish man of a certain age. So I hope they continue to realise that, oh, these characters are great. You know, I often use the word character when I'm talking about cast. I don't mean character like they're not a real person. It's just an easy way of describing them. Shan says, with 8 people left with the next banishment, if a faithful goes, it might be the last time the Traitors could recruit. Do you think they will? Good point. Will they recruit at the next banishment? Well, obviously, at the next banishment, oh yeah, wait a minute. At the next banishment, if Stephen goes, or Rachel, do they blackmail at that? I think they still blackmail at that point. Yes, they do. But even if it's a faithful and they've got the choice to recruit for the last time, will they? They might. I don't know. A few episodes ago, I would have said they're going to recruit Matthew and throw him under the bus, and I really don't think. I think they've said so many times now they don't trust Matthew. They think he's a loose cannon. So now I don't think they'll do that. Maybe they recruit. I don't know, like Faraz, Rachel seems to be planting seeds on him. Is she going to recruit him and then throw him under the bus? Or Roxy? Or James? Maybe they recruit James and get him banished? Roxy would love that. Oh my god, can you imagine? It would be Roxy's happy day. She's been going for Jade. Oh, right, okay. Oh, it's all becoming clear. This is what they do. Right. Oh my goodness. Right. They give the dagger to Jade next episode. She helps banish Matt. Yes, because she doesn't like Matt, because Matt's been mean to her. They get Matt out. And then Matt gets banished. Oh no, he was a faithful. Oh my god, maybe we could recruit. They recruit James. They get Roxy. They go for James. They get him banished. He actually is a traitor now. Roxy's like, yes, I knew it. Stephen, I love you. I did know that you were telling me the truth all along. And then they coast to the end. Final 3 is Rachel, Stephen, Roxy. Ditch Roxy at the last minute. Or they don't really even need to ditch her, do they? If they vote red, if she votes red and they need another vote, get her out. Rachel and Stephen win. Hooray! I'm calling it now. That's my prediction of how it's going. Lizzie says, I definitely don't like villains. Yes, in terms of casting. I find myself really, really falling for the arch. And I feel guilty. Yes, the casting of villains. Yes, I knew what you meant. Magica, have we had an actual body language expert yet? Like an actual expert whose job it is to tell? I don't know if we have. Does such a thing exist? Is that a job? Body language expert? If not, it should be. Body language expert. Why would that job exist? What would be the purpose of that job? I mean, there must be PhD people who study psychology and then go down a lane of, there must be some people who focus on body language. So maybe we get one of those who actually is a genuine, not just like, oh, I think I'm really good at reading body language. Someone who says, like, I have researched body language for the last 30 years and I can suss everything about a person. Yeah, get them on. make them like the ultimate traitor hunter, but obviously they wouldn't tell anyone, they would keep that a secret. If that person exists out there and they're willing to come on the Traitors, yes, Magica, good casting, I would enjoy. Although it could also ruin their career if they're really bad at it and they pull a Harriet. Although Harriet was correct. No, take it back. They just do a bad job of it. I was going to use an example of another terrible player, and I won't do that. I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to go high, not low. Sarah G, they don't say in the final what they are, so they can assume that they were all... Yes. If we get to if they keep the rule where for the final banishment, or at least the end game, when you're voted out, you don't reveal your status. That's also great for the traitors. If they start at that point voting out Faraz or Roxy, whoever's left, the remaining faithful might just cross their fingers and think, well, I think we got the traitors out, that's good enough, so they won't know for sure. Maria is asking Magica, oh, you guys are having a conversation amongst yourselves. I don't need to repeat that. Well done, you. Holly says, if Stephen gets voted out, who will Rachel recruit? Yep, my guess is, what did I just say 5 minutes ago? James. Maybe recruit James. Because if Roxy's still around, maybe she'll just keep going for him. And then we can get him banished. We? I'm just talking like I'm one of the traitors. We can get him banished. Hi, James, if you're listening. I was going to say something not positive there. I won't do it. I'm going to hold back. Lizzie, we were discussing that a risky big move could be giving the dagger to someone they know definitely will vote for them, using it as a defence. Oh, that's really dangerous. Like, using it as a defence that they wouldn't... Yeah, maybe they give the dagger to someone that is likely to vote for them, because then everyone goes... Like, who's likely to vote for Rachel and Stephen? Let's say Matt. Matt said, I know he's on Jade, but she cried and they hugged and maybe he's forgiven her, or she's forgiven him and they've made it. I don't know. Matt did say Stephen was high on his list. Maybe they give it to Matt. Who else is around? Let's just go with Matt as an example. They give it to Matt because they think Matt might be likely to vote for Stephen, and then Stephen, like he did with Jesse, can be like, why would I have given the dagger? If I'm a traitor, I wouldn't have given it to someone that might vote for me. Are you all mad? And they go, yeah, you're right. It's not Stephen. He wouldn't have done that to himself. And Stephen escapes again. That could be... that's a huge risk to take. And I don't think they're in that position. I don't think they need to, because Stephen didn't get a single vote last time. Rachel hasn't had a vote since Harriet was around. I don't think there's anyone who's very obviously coming for them that they need to employ this tactic. So actually I don't think they'll do that. Lizzie, yeah, who's clearly going to vote for them? Yeah. Shan says, I'd give the dagger to Jade so it won't be used against them because everyone will just vote Jade out. Poor Jade, so does it matter what Jade does with her dagger and her double vote? She's going anyway. Oh, Matthew joined. Not Matthew from the show. Matthew from Survivor UK. Hi, Matthew. I'm going to spoil something if you haven't watched Survivor UK. It was on TV like 2 years ago. Matthew was the winner of Survivor UK, and Matthew just joined and waved. So hi, Matthew. And Matthew was a brilliant contestant on Survivor. So Matthew, you should get on the Traitors as well. I mean, that might be unlikely, but you'd be very good at it. And some sort of all-stars competition where they just combine different strategy shows, even if they didn't get renewed for a second season. Get someone from Survivor on. Get someone from Genius Game on. Get someone from $1 Million Secret. That's a whole other country that made that. But anyway, I'm rambling. Maria, definitely not Jack or James since they've been voting as a block. True. Good point. They always vote together. If you give one of them a double vote, you're basically assigning 3 votes to someone. That's very dangerous. What if those 3 votes come to one of the traitors? Maybe you don't want to do that. Melby would be amazing. Thank you, Kat Jean. I'm glad you agree. Did anyone else think This is from Vic. Vic says, did anyone else think Roxy was going to reveal that Judy was her mum at the dinner? Yet for a moment, I did wonder, is this the time? Is this her moment, her perfect moment with you? Anyone watching US Traitors, you will understand. Anyone who was alive in the 90s, you will understand. I thought for a moment Roxy might say, guys, I was adopted and you've met the woman who did it. And she points to the picture on the wall. But it was very wise of her not to do that, because she's been accusing James so often of, being dishonest, and if you're dishonest about one thing, then you're being dishonest about everything. So that if Roxy revealed now that Judy was her mum and they'd kept it a secret, that would be bad news. That would just be perfect for James to go, you've been lying about something this entire time. I'm not enjoying. And you got mad at me for hiding a shield for half an hour? No thanks, Roxy. So I'm glad that Roxy did not do that. Although it would have been funny. Cat Jean, I think they get quirky older people that can't handle it. Maybe they need to think of an older person that would be better at the game. Yeah, maybe they focus on, older people who are a bit funny and quirky, like Fiona, or Linda. Although, I think Linda gets a hard time from Series 3. I know we make fun of Linda. She made it to like episode 9 or something, so that's not bad going. But yes, I get your point, Cat Jean. Maybe older people who are a bit more canny, a bit more discerning, and we underestimate them and they actually turn out to be amazing. I mean, Amanda was kind of that in this series, but just couldn't stop herself from going into detective mode, which is the reason people found her so suspicious and they thought she was pushing her. The Ninth Aunt, great username. Ant is spelled A-N-T, not A-U-N-T. The Ninth Aunt, I want to know the meaning behind this name, says, in regards to editing, Traitors Canada had a player who was edited out of the other reality show she was on, so it's not always a sign. Traitors, I don't know what that means. Traitors Canada had a player who was edited out of the other reality show she was on. Oh, right. So, I think I know what you mean. Just because someone is not really in the edit much doesn't mean they're not going to win the show. Yes, I think I know who you're referring to. So sometimes somebody can feel like a figure who's not getting a lot of screen time, and actually they do go very far and do well. Maybe even win. Joe says, love Poddy. Yes, Poddy was fantastic. Shan says, I can't wait for everyone in the UK to meet Queen Oyen. Yes, Oyen is a great player who was on... No, that's not a spoiler. Not a spoiler. A Traitors Ireland player called Oyen. Very cool. Yes, there's so many great players on Traitors Ireland. Oyen, Joanna, Caitlin, Kelly, Eamon, Poddy, Andrew... It's such a great cast. Gemma. God love Gemma. She was great. True fans will know. Lindo, hi Lindo, says hi from Canada. Oh, but I have to leave as I've not watched the last episode. Love your pod. Thank you. Enjoy the app. Magicer, I've met a body language expert. That's her only job. Magicer knows a body language expert whose only job is to be a body language expert. That's very cool. Magicer, I felt you kept that information from me to make me look like a fool, because I questioned if it was a real job, and now you've dropped it in there, and I look like I'm an idiot. I think you've set me up. And I think this is all payback for when I may have murdered you when we played the Traitors. That's what I think is happening here. Lizzie says, I wish David was here for this discussion on body language. Yes. Oh, hi, Lindsay. Yes, David's not... I mean, David is right to be angry that people often think they're experts on body language, and 99% of the time, everyone is wrong. Everyone thinks they can read body language, and it's actually so misunderstood and so difficult to genuinely read body language most of the time and interpret things correctly. That is why people are rubbish at the Traitors. That is why Faithful get it wrong all the time, because nobody's good at it. Nobody can do it well, apart from this person that Magicer claims to know. I'm saying hi Lindsay because it's Lindsay who's joins on the pod and always hosts episode 1 with me, and Lindsay's been watching along and sending me her voice notes. Lindsay was very emotionally moved by the dinner in the most recent episode, as was I. Sad face crying. Shan, yes, if David was here, he would say there's no such thing as a body language expert. David would say it in that very impassioned voice, yes. Maybe David is here. Cat Jean, I was also thinking, give the dagger to Matt. They could just say he's out to get them and he's been pretty loud the last few episodes. They could do, and then throw him under the bus. Maria, even he doesn't get I think that's supposed to say even if he doesn't get recruited or win, Matthew's question in the church bought him several weeks. There were a lot of ways that power could have backfired. Yeah, I agree. It has extended his time. In the end, I don't think it's going to help him win, but it maybe has at least extended his lifespan on the show. Catching, I think I'd take that risk since zero traitors got any votes last week. I think maybe you mean the risk of giving the dagger to someone that might be likely to vote for them as a sort of double bluff. Lizzie's picturing David's rant word for word. Lindsay, podcast Lindsay says Rachel will take the dagger 100%. Lindsay, that's a bold statement. That's a bold claim. 100%. You're saying Rachel's given it to herself. I think that's what David predicted. Few listeners have said that. Could be. I'm not opposed to that opinion. I'm not ruling it out. I can see that happening. Lizzie, if Roxy admitted to Judy being her mum, it would have been Maddie 2.0. Yes. Don't reveal a big secret at the dinner party. Oh my goodness, yes, of course. Or at any time for that matter. Yes, revealing a big secret halfway through never seems to go well. Just always spells out doom for the players. Magica says you're not an idiot, you're a murderer. Someone's not forgotten what happened to us when we played the Traitors. Lindsay says, hiya. I think that's to me and to everybody. So hiya. Hi Harry, faithful listener. Stu's a realist. Hi Stu. Stuart knows Lindsay and me from way back. Stuart and Lindsay were reunited. It's like it's a cinema reunion. What a treat, what a joy. Harry, 100%. I mean, everyone is 100% faithful on the show, so I'd never bet 100% on anything. I 100% agree with you. By the way, sorry. I had a Jasmine Masters moment there. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. Sorry, I mumbled that terribly. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. I can't speak anymore. Stu says, hi Sunny Gang. Hi. Yes, last time I was like, hi guys, let's just chat for 5 minutes. 55 minutes passed by and I was still in full flow. So I'm just keeping an eye on that. We've had lots of good questions. I'm loving it. Maybe we have like 10, 15 minutes more. Matthew, are you watching US Drag Race Season 18? And if so, what do you think so far? That's from S4Ch4. S4Ch4. What does that username mean? What does it mean? S4Ch4. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe I'm just trying to make something of it that's not. I am watching US Drag Race Season 18. I watched the first 2 episodes. I think that's all there's been. I won't spoil anything for anyone who is also watching. And there is a connection to the Traitors because now the past 2 series of US Traitors, they've had Drag Race contestants come on the show. So there's a bit of crossover. We've had Bob the Drag Queen, we've had Monet Exchange. I'm sure they'll keep doing that. It's Sasha. Hi Sasha. Not Sasha. Oh god, of course it is. The 4s are like A's. Sasha. I'm such an idiot. Magica is also watching RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18. Magica says, a great cast, real talent and experience, and a back to basics approach to production. Yeah, I've noticed they're not doing any mad twists to the format. I had the same thought in episode 2. I was like, it's kind of just... I'm so used to expecting some mad new league table or point system, or we're going to do eliminations totally differently. Actually, it seems like they've just gone back to the basic format, and I am more than happy with that. Yes, what I'm thinking so far. I'm enjoying it. There seems like sort of classic casting. Someone is quite clearly supposed to be a little bit unlikable, but is very talented, incredibly talented. I'm not taking that away. Yes, enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I think we'll always just keep watching US Drag Race. I cannot keep up with all the international seasons. It's just too much. I did Drag Race Down Under for 2 seasons. I did Canada for 2 or 3 seasons. It just became a bit overwhelming. I don't even know if I'm going to watch UK versus the world. It's just a bit much. But classic Drag Race, yes, I will continue to watch. I am watching it. It's great fun. Holly Chetwood said, hi Holly, already asked a question. I'm saying it like you've just joined the chat. You're not, you were here a while ago. Holly said, is it still worth watching Traitors from other places, even without Claudia? It absolutely is. Claudia is dear to my heart, and it's a very special part of the Traitors. But yeah, definitely worth watching other seasons. Holly, I'm going to guess you're in the UK if you're asking that question. So I would check out some of the other seasons that are on BBC iPlayer. I say this all the time, I'm saying it again. Traitors Australia is on there, unless they've removed it. I hope they haven't. I really would recommend Australia season 1. Several people have watched like 2 episodes and then say, nah, not for me, I'm out. Please stick with it. Keep with it. It's incredible. New Zealand season 2 is a fantastic season. It's on BBC iPlayer. Not for the host. The host is like fairly forgettable to me. But it's a great cast, great season. They ditched celebrities and just went for regular schmegular people. It's brilliant. Canada's great fun. I really enjoy it. And Traitors India, if you ever get the chance to see it, I really hope it comes to a streamer or a broadcaster in the UK. Or it was on Amazon Prime India, and only Amazon Prime India. If they just put it on Amazon Prime everywhere, I would really recommend watching that. Brilliant host on Traitors India. Great cast, great gameplay. Players that were really in it for the strategy. Huge budget, really impressive. Loved that season. So yes, absolutely. And Traitors Ireland, I cannot recommend it enough. It's coming to the BBC this Friday. Siobhan McSweeney is a brilliant host. So funny. Not a million miles away from Claudia. Really, that brilliant combination of actually very warm and funny and genuinely loves the players, I think, and is rooting for them all to do well, but also turns on the very serious host role when she has to amp them up and rile them up and get them in the zone. So Traitors Ireland, you must watch. If Celebrity UK, this is from Shan, if Celebrity UK had a drag queen on it, who would you want the first drag queen to be? I would assume it's going to be one of the British drag queens. It's got to be Lawrence Chaney, doesn't it? It's Scotland. It makes sense. She doesn't need to travel far. She's good fun. Get Lawrence Chaney on there. Yeah. Who else do I like? Lavoie is doing so well. Was great on Strictly Come Dancing, and has been doing lots of other little presenting bits popping up here and there. Was just on UK Drag Race, the most recent series, which is fun. Even though Lavoie didn't win, has just become the standout of that series. So I can see Lavoie doing it. I can see Lawrence Chaney doing it. Or Danny Beard. Love Danny Beard. Humble brag, met Danny Beard through work and spent like half an hour with him, and he was absolutely charming and lovely. So I'm a fan. Maria says yes. The other yes, as in response to should I watch other versions outside the UK. The other hosts don't try to be Claudia; they do their own thing. There are some incredible seasons worldwide. Agreed, Maria. And Magicer's talking about some of the UK queens. Only a couple of UK queens have really become celebs. Yep, Bag of Chips, Lavoie, Tia Coffee. Oh my goodness, how did I forget? Never mind Lawrence Chaney. Tia Coffee is a absolute favourite of mine. So funny, seems so down to earth and sweet and very clever. I met Tia Coffee as well at like a drag race event. It wasn't a drag race event, it was like a tea or coffee event. And she was great fun and we took a fun picture. Love tea or coffee, yes. Very clever. What, didn't she win like Celebrity Mastermind on her episode? So she'd be great in the Traitors. Get her in there. Get loads of them and just put a whole bunch of drag queens in the castle. Come on, that's what we want. And yes, people recommending Ireland, New Zealand. Harry says, given Cerie, the Traitors Queen, is back on Survivor 50 later this year, would you and David cover it, as it's likely the good ones will be on Traitors Season 5? I didn't know Cerie from Traitors US Season 1 was going back on Survivor. David may have mentioned it, and I have not taken it in. That's very cool, didn't know that. I don't think I'll cover Survivor. It's too much for me. Traitors worldwide keeps me occupied year round. I don't know if I can take on another series. David will be all over Survivor anyway, so I recommend watch David's coverage. David David's the Survivor person. I don't need to jump on that bandwagon. But Harry, thank you for letting me know that. Maybe I should watch it just for fun, but not podcast about it, because I'll get to see Sari, I'll get to know the players, and then maybe some of them will end up on the next series of Traitors US, and I'll know them in advance for once. That's a good shout. Maria says New Zealand season 2 is not on Peacock in the US. That's annoying. Well, it should be. Let's petition them. How dare they? New Zealand season 2 is so good. So when it must eventually, it will come, Maria, I'm sure. Watch it, everybody. It'll be fab. Shan and Magica are having a chat amongst themselves. You guys go for it. Joe says, I'm very excited about the next Australian Traitors season. Yes, one of my favourite Australian Survivor players of all time, Kirby, will be on it. Kirby's social game is amazing and everyone always loves her. We'll see about that, Joe. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm so excited Traitors Australia is returning, because it kind of seemed like it was cancelled after season 2. I don't think it did particularly well in ratings, even though I'm obsessed with it. And it just wasn't renewed, vanished. I think it's coming to a new network. A new channel has taken it on. Good on them. They're doing it as a co-production with New Zealand, much like UK and US do. So it's supposed to be a bit more cost effective. They'll film both of them in the same place. Pretty much keep the same crew to film them, which is great for the people working in the crew, good for the industry. I'm very excited as a new host. That is the one. I'm sure the new host will be great, and I'm very excited. Apparently it's a woman who is a comedian, I think. So I'm sure she'll be great. I'm very personally devastated that Roger, who hosted the first 2 seasons, is not there, because Roger and I have a connection, a deep connection of love, and Roger doesn't know about it, but it is there, and I'm sad that I won't get to see Roger on my screen. I mean, he is an actor, and I could watch him in one of his shows that he acts in, but it's not the same. He's playing a character, it's not the real Roger. I don't get the feeling through the TV of what we have. Magicer's talking about some of his faves, Lawrence, Danny Beard. The Viv would have been amazing. I know, it's really sad. Shan says, I don't know if you remember Kat from New Zealand Traitors season 2. She's now going to be in the new season of Australian Survivor. I do remember Kat. I didn't know that. Is this your lie? Are we in the Lion game? Are you all have you all got together in a secret group chat and you're like, let's just tell Matthew a load of stuff that's not true, and we'll see if we can believe, and he'll believe it, and then he'll be the idiot for once. Not for once. I'm an idiot quite often. As some people have commented, Matthew keeps getting things wrong on the podcast. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm only human, right? I'm doing my best here. But I didn't know that about Kat. Lots of people crying about Roger not being on Australia anymore. Yes. Traitor Base, hi, says, I wonder if the red tracksuits will make a return. Great question. If you've not watched Traitors Australia, they've got like a uniform that they wear. It's very Squid Game. It's very ahead of its time. My throat's getting sore because I'm not drinking my Mariah tea. A hero lies in me. A hero lies in tea. Yes, the tracksuits. They have these Traitors Australia was like sponsored by Adidas or something. All the players had red tracksuits. Why did I forget that word after 3 seconds after saying it the first time? They had these red tracksuits, and every time it was a mission, the tracksuits came on, and they had their names on the back of the tracksuits. And I had it in this room the other day. In a weird twist of fate, won Paul's tracksuit from the Traitors, and have it. It's upstairs. So I wore it on the pod the other day for one of the bonus eps. I think it was we did a UK versus US special pod episodes, David and I. So I wore my red Australia tracksuit as an homage to the Secret Traitor. But yes, good question. Will we see the return of the red tracksuits on Australia? I hope so. It would be a nice little gem to hold on to, because I bet they're not going to film it in the same place. It's not the same host. Be nice to have like a little bit of continuity to remind us of those first 2 glorious seasons. So I would like that. Shan says, me, David, Magica and Lindsay are in a group chat without you. Without who? Without... Oh, without me. God. You're in a group chat? Oh God, I mean, I don't know if that's a joke or not. I don't know how I feel about this. Magiker, Linda, get over it, is going to host a new season of Survivor UK. Brackets, lie. That's the lie that needs to be true of all the lies we've ever told on the pod. Linda needs to be the host of something. She really needs a podcast. I mean, ideally, Linda, if someone knows Linda, can she just come on my podcast and just be on every episode with me and whoever my guest is? I just want Linda here all the time. We could fit in this. I'm in an armchair right now. I've got a matching armchair beside me. Imagine me and Linda together, united as one. Or we could just, I was going to say, I could sit on her lap. That's weird and creepy. I take that back. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. But we could snuggle up. We could have a little Traitors blanket. When we don't like something, we just in unison go 3, 2, 1. Get over it. And we both say it together. Or we just do one of our other catchphrases like, every breakfast, me and Linda together just go, who the hell is not going to come back? And it would go viral. And we would all love it. And I want that to happen now. I'm sad that it's not true. I'm sad that was just an imaginary scenario in my mind. Shan says, of course I'm joking. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I don't want secret group chats going on without me. Maria says, yes, Linda for Trader, co-host, agreed. And, well, yes, Tracer Base has pointed out, Linda does know Jane from New Zealand Season 2 quite well. I know they were on Annabelle's podcast together. Jane is my in to get to Linda. Maybe I should just reach out to Linda. I've been quite serious now. Maybe I just send Linda a message. But like, Linda, I love you dearly. You're forever in my heart, in my mind, in my soul. Will you please come on an episode of the podcast? Even if Linda just sends us a voice note. Even if she... Can everyone just bombard Linda with messages and say, Linda, we love you. Can you please reach out to Matthew and do a collab? Linda X Trader. Like, what's Kourtney Kardashian's thing? Push X Goop is the same as Linda X Trader, and we join forces. Right, can you just please help make that happen? Thank you. It's almost been an hour. It's been a treat, a joy. It's been not hard work, which is nice, because sometimes the podcast's stressful. It's a lot of notes to take and keep on track and not get things wrong and not have to do edits and all that stuff. And I don't really need to worry that much about this because I'm not editing this, even though I've said lots of stupid things. So it's nice to just have a chat and have fun. Okay, there's one final question. I will answer the one final question and then we'll say farewell. Sarah says, in international versions, when they have the dagger, when is it announced? And Sarah, I think you asked this on YouTube, and I did answer it on the most recent episode of the pod, but I'll answer it again here anyway. The thing is I'm talking about versions I've seen. I've not watched every international version. Whenever I've seen the dagger used in other countries, it's given in a different way. I've never seen the traitors decide who gets it. It's usually won in a mission. So everybody knows who wins it. It's like winning a shield. So they all find out in front of one another who's got the dagger, usually. So usually it's very obvious. But one season that aired last year did it a little bit differently. The player who won it, I think they still won it in a mission, but they didn't find out until they arrived at the round table and the dagger was just sitting in front of their chair. And so they all found out together. But on the podcast with David, we theorised they'll do it differently on UK for one very good reason. You'll have to go and listen to the podcast, the Q&A pod that I uploaded this morning to find out when David and I think it will be announced. So there we go. I know some people are only just joining. I'm literally just about to leave. Thank you all. You can watch it though, because this I'll just upload to Instagram and it'll be there, and you can watch it at your own leisure. And I'll upload it to YouTube as well. And lots of people watched the last one, which was really nice because I'm just sort of rambling. Thank you everybody. What's next for the pod? This week we have author Maria Fraser, who's in the chat joining me for episode 10. Magica is going to be joining me for episode 11 for the recap, and David Bloomberg is joining me for the finale. The finale will be out a wee bit later, mainly because I'm not at home this weekend. I'm off at the Don't Tell Mama festival. Do you know what? I'm going to just say this right now. I was going to the Don't Tell Mama festival to see some like old pop stars of yore, just like relive some millennial fun. One of them is Louise from Eternal. Louise is performing at the same time that the Traitors is on TV. Louise, what are you playing at? So I'm not going to get to see Louise because I'm going to be watching the Traitors finale live in the place that they play it on the big screen and we're all watching together. For goodness sake, Louise. So I think she should reschedule before. I'm going to reach out to her management and say, like, can you please rethink this? Thank you very much. Because no one's going to be watching Louise. They're all going to be watching the Traitors. Anyway, it's holding the podcast up a wee bit, but it's the final episode. It's okay. Well, the podcast will be out on Sunday for the finale episode. And then we'll hold off on the Q&A episode for a few days to give everybody time to watch the finale. And it'll be your last chance to get all your questions in. Because then that's the end of UK for this year until Celebrity. That was a long ramble, just to say that yes, we've got some lovely people coming on the pod this week, and Traitors US coverage is ongoing. David Bloomberg's hosting that with a new co-host this week, and then I'll be back on Traitors US from next week on. So US people, I will be back with you very soon. So Magica, yes to everything you're saying. Sarah G, well, okay, last question, then I'll go. Do we know if Celebrity Season 2 has been filmed? No, it's not been filmed yet. Last year they filmed it in May. I think they'll do the same thing again this year. Lots of rumours flying on the internet now about who the cast is. I don't believe half of it, but no, hasn't been filmed yet. Thanks everybody, goodbye, see you on the pod. Thank you so much for joining me, that's really, really sweet. Take care, bye, later Traitors.